Hi there, it's Mark Sebastian, founder of Option Pit, and this is the stock market and option volatility report. Reminder, this is for education purpose only. Should not be considered investment advice. Options have risk. Well, on Monday, I was saying that VIX was pointing toward a rally. Boy, was I wrong. What I meant was VIX was pointing toward a 3% sell-off, and markets were going to see vol explode, and the S&P was going to blow through any moving averages. Kidding. But what I will say is that here we are. We've sold off now 5% in 2 days. 5% in 2 days. And the VIX is 2360. The VVIX the VVIX is barely over 100, so nobody's rushing for VIX options. VIX is 2368, la-di-da. Meanwhile, look at Apple. Apple is getting absolutely torched. I would point out that, if you're looking for an area to own gamma, Apple the premiums on Apple, Apple vol is probably too cheap. It would be my kind of response to what I'm seeing today. As I'm looking, I would be looking at time spreads. I'd be looking at, I think I'd be looking at butterflies, things like that, things that get me long gamma and things that get me long delta. So a trade that I've been kind of paying attention to has been a trade like this. Paying 7.25, 7.30 for a 12.5 point butterfly. I think there's money in it. So it's just kind of managing the money flow. Because markets are moving around. It doesn't look, at least temporarily, we seem to have found kind of a spot. They don't seem to want to sell it off much more than where it is here in the S&P, down 1.7%. That's a pretty nice move. That would take us about, kind of right near the 1123 and the 1029. So all these lows, we're above the low close. We'll see whether we try and test there. But, if you look at how low volume a lot of these sell-offs were, not a lot to it, makes you wonder whether whether we're going to see things either get bought or whether we're going to make a run at the low. Just seeing the total lack of interest in hedging, it makes me think that we could move higher, but there's been kind of a lack of interest this entire sell-off. So at a certain point, you have to ask, are people just selling because they don't want to bother? Is that what is happening? Why are we not why are we not seeing more? Why are we not seeing more? Why are we not seeing more hedging? And that's what's kind of confusing me. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. I'm looking at, You know, the NASDAQ is relatively strong, which is weird. And the IWM is relatively strong. When we've seen the Russell and the NASDAQ be kind of the leaders, that's been something. Now, you know, like you can see, there's been waves of selling and waves of buying, but we've been in a relatively tight range for the last hour. You know, basically since we opened up, we had a nice drop and then kind of nothing. I mean, so here's the open. We had a nice little buy, a nice little drop, but by about within the first half hour, we've just been kind of in this range, maybe slowly creeping a little higher. I'll be interested in whether we make a run back toward 2600, 2660, or if we do take another dive. You know, that's kind of where we're watching things. We're going to be looking at some VIX, some opportunities in VIX today, see what we can find. There has been some money to be made in those names. I'm seeing a lot of VIX call sellers today and some put buyers. So, you know, kind of interesting the way paper is moving around. All right, folks, I hope you have a great morning. I will talk to you soon.